Sarah Chen had always believed that the most dangerous things in a spacecraft hangar were the obvious ones: fuel leaks, pressure failures, or a misaligned gravity plate. After 15 years as Titan Station's lead maintenance technician, she thought she'd seen every way a routine repair could go wrong. That was before she found the object that would change humanity's place in the galaxy, tucked away in a damaged shuttle's cargo hold. The day started like any other on Titan Station. Saturn's largest moon hung below the sprawling space station, its orange haze visible through the hangar's massive windows. Sarah moved through her pre-shift checks with practiced efficiency, her augmented reality contact lenses highlighting potential issues in various systems. "Chen, got a priority job for you." Station Chief Martinez's voice crackled through her comm. "Shuttle Bay 7. The Helios limped in last night with some weird damage to its hull. Captain says they hit something out by Neptune's orbit." Sarah adjusted her tool belt as she made her way to Bay 7. "Define weird damage, Chief." "You'll see for yourself. Just be careful with this one." The Helios was a standard mining survey vessel designed to scout potential extraction sites in the outer solar system. As Sarah approached, she immediately understood Martinez's concern. The damage pattern wasn't consistent with any normal space debris impact. The hull bore spiral-shaped indentations, as if something had wrapped around the ship and squeezed. "Running preliminary scan now," Sarah announced, more for the record than any actual audience. Her AR lenses mapped the damage, creating a three-dimensional overlay that would help guide her repairs. But as she moved toward the cargo hold, her sensors detected an energy signature unlike anything she'd encountered before. The cargo hold door was partially melted, its edges warped in impossible ways. Sarah's hand hovered over the emergency seal release. "Chief, are you seeing these readings?" Static answered her. She checked her comm system. All channels were dead, despite showing full signal strength. Standard protocol dictated she should wait for backup when encountering unknown phenomena. But something about the energy signature seemed almost familiar, like a half-remembered song from childhood. Using her override codes, Sarah bypassed the damaged door mechanism. The cargo hold was dark, save for a soft, pulsing blue light emanating from a spherical object about the size of a basketball. It hovered motionless in the center of the hold, defying gravity. "What the hell did you guys find out there?" Sarah whispered. Her sensors were going haywire, displaying contradictory readings. The sphere seemed to exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously, yet remained perfectly stable. She should have called it in. Should have evacuated the bay and waited for the Xenotech team. Instead, Sarah took a step closer, drawn by an inexplicable certainty that this object was meant to be found. Meant to be found by her. The sphere's surface rippled like liquid mercury as she approached. Her AR lenses flickered and died, but she barely noticed. The blue light seemed to reach out to her, tendrils of energy dancing through the air. "Hello, Sarah Chen," a voice echoed in her mind, ancient, and new all at once. "We have waited a very long time for someone like you." The sphere expanded, its surface becoming transparent. Inside, Sarah saw impossible geometries, mathematical patterns that seemed to describe the very fabric of space-time. Her mind struggled to process what she was seeing, even as understanding flooded through her. What are you?" she managed to ask. "We are the interface, created by those you would call the predecessors. We are a test, a key, and a gateway. And you, Sarah Chen, have just initiated humanity's trial." The sphere pulsed once, brilliant light filling the cargo hold. Sarah felt knowledge pouring into her mind. Secrets of quantum mechanics, dark energy manipulation, and technologies beyond human comprehension. But with that knowledge came awareness of something else. Earth was no longer alone, and not everyone in the galaxy would welcome humanity's advancement. Through the hangar windows, Sarah watched as space itself seemed to ripple. A massive ship emerged from what her newly enhanced mind recognized as a quantum fold in space-time. It was beautiful, terrifying, and completely alien. The interface's voice resonated in her thoughts. They have detected our activation. The Guardians come, as they always have. But this time, this trial may end differently. You humans have something the others lacked. And what's that? Sarah asked, even as alarms began blaring throughout the station. The ability to see solutions where others see only problems. You call it human ingenuity. We call it the spark of ascension. Now, Sarah Chen, show us if humanity is ready for what comes next. The massive alien ship launched what appeared to be a communication probe toward Titan Station. Sarah knew, with a certainty that came from the interface, that humanity's response to what happened next would determine our species' fate among the stars. She opened a channel to station control, surprised to find her comm systems working again. Chief Martinez, you're going to want to hear this. And sir, you might want to alert Earth. We're about to have company. In the cargo hold of a damaged shuttle, surrounded by the impossible, Sarah Chen prepared to become something she'd never imagined. Humanity's first line of defense in a galaxy that had been waiting to test us all along. The Guardian ship's communication probe breached Titan Station's defensive perimeter, as if the most advanced human shields weren't even there. Sarah watched it approach through the hangar windows, her mind processing information at speeds that should have been impossible. The interface's presence hummed at the edge of her consciousness, translating alien concepts into something her human brain could comprehend. They're not here to destroy us, Sarah said to Chief Martinez, who had arrived with a security team. But they're not here to welcome us either. Martinez's face was grim as he studied the alien vessel through reinforced plastic glass. You'll forgive me if I don't take your word for it, Chen, especially given that you're now apparently psychic. Not psychic, Sarah corrected, her fingers tracing patterns in the air as she accessed data streams only she could see. Connected. The interface is a neural quantum computer designed to test species for technological readiness. The Guardians are its quality control. The probe stopped outside the station's main diplomatic dock, its surface shifting like liquid metal. Emergency containment fields snapped into place as the station's AI detected atmospheric breaches. The Guardians were coming aboard, whether they were invited or not. Station control to all personnel, the AI's calm voice announced. First contact protocols are now in effect. This is not a drill. Sarah felt the interface's knowledge surge through her mind. Chief, I need to be in that meeting. The Guardians, they're looking for something specific. If they don't find it, things will get bad very quickly. Martinez studied her for a long moment. You're still you in there, Chen. Still me, she assured him. Just with a lot more processing power now. The chief's comm chirped with an incoming message. His eyes widened as he read it. Well, looks like you're getting your wish. The Guardians are specifically requesting the presence of the interface bearer at the diplomatic chamber. The interface's presence grew stronger as Sarah and Martinez made their way through the station's corridors. Emergency bulkheads sealed behind them, the station preparing for worst-case scenarios. Sarah could feel the alien technology scanning the human facility, measuring and judging everything it found. They'd done this before, she told Martinez as they walked. Thousands of times, with thousands of species. The interface is a test, but it's also a gift, if we prove worthy of it. And if we don't. Before Sarah could answer, they'd reached the diplomatic chamber. Through its transparent walls, she could see three figures that defied human understanding. The Guardians had taken roughly humanoid form, but their bodies seemed to shift and flow, as if physical matter was merely a suggestion rather than a requirement. They're not really shaped like that, Sarah explained, the interface translating alien concepts into words. They're trying to appear less threatening to us. Their true form exists in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The chamber's doors slid open with a soft hiss. The Guardians turned as one, their attention focusing on Sarah, with an intensity that made the air itself seem to vibrate. Their voices, when they spoke, bypassed her ears entirely and resonated directly in her mind. Interface bearer, they addressed her. Your species has activated the legacy far ahead of projected technological development curves. This is concerning. Sarah felt the interface guiding her response. The legacy chose its moment. I am its bearer. You are an accident, the tallest guardian replied. A maintenance technician who stumbled upon power beyond your comprehension. Your species still fights among itself. You have barely reached your own system's outer planets. You are not ready. Sarah stepped forward, feeling knowledge and confidence flowing through her. Ready for what? To join your carefully managed galactic community. To advance only when you decide we should. The Guardian's forms rippled with what might have been surprise. You accessed the legacy's knowledge with unusual clarity, the central figure observed. Perhaps not entirely an accident then. But accessing information is not the same as understanding it, or using it wisely. Then test us, Sarah challenged. That's why the interface exists, isn't it? To find species worthy of the predecessor's legacy. To find those who can think differently. The chamber's atmosphere grew heavy with tension. Outside, the Guardian ship's energy readings spiked, causing warning alerts throughout the station. The three alien figures conferred in frequencies beyond human perception. The trial cannot be rushed, they finally announced. It requires careful observation, controlled advancement, measured. They fell silent as Sarah raised her hand, the interface's power flowing through her. Above the diplomatic chamber, a holographic display sprang to life, showing the history of human achievement. From first tools to spaceflight, from written language to quantum computing, compressed into a dizzying cascade of innovation. Humanity doesn't advance in careful, measured steps, Sarah declared. We leap, we stumble, we pick ourselves up and try again, learning from every failure. We look at the impossible and say, why not? That's what makes us different. That's what the interface saw in me, in us. The Guardian's forms became more abstract as they processed this declaration. You would risk everything on this assertion. The trial's failure means more than just denial of advancement. There are consequences. Sarah felt the weight of history, human and alien, pressing down on her. The interface showed her visions of worlds that had failed their trials, civilizations that had been deemed too reckless or too cautious. But it also showed her humanity's potential future, achievements that would reshape the galaxy itself. We risk everything every time we take a step forward, she answered. Every time we reach for the stars, every time we refuse to accept limitations. That's not our weakness. That's our strength. The diplomatic chamber filled with light as the Guardians initiated what Sarah now knew was the formal beginning of humanity's trial. Through her connection to the interface, she felt the attention of ancient systems turning toward Earth, measuring, evaluating, judging. Very well, interface bearer Sarah Chen. The Guardians announced in unison. Your trial begins. May your species' courage match its ambition. As the light faded, Sarah turned to Martinez, who had watched the entire exchange in stunned silence. Chief, she said, I think we're going to need a bigger maintenance bay. The interface hummed with approval in her mind, even as the first wave of trial challenges began appearing on the station's long-range sensors. Humanity's greatest test was about to begin, and Sarah Chen, maintenance technician turned species representative, was somehow going to have to help us pass it. In the 3 days since the Guardians had initiated humanity's trial, Sarah Chen had learned more about the universe than she had in her entire previous life. The interface filled her mind with knowledge of quantum mechanics that made Earth's most advanced theories look like child's drawings, showed her civilizations that existed in 11 dimensions, and revealed technologies that bordered on magic. But right now, she was struggling with something much more mundane, explaining to Earth's hastily assembled Interstellar Relations Committee why they shouldn't try to weaponize the interface. With all due respect, Director, Sarah said, addressing the holographic projection of Director Hayes from Earth's Defense Ministry, the interface isn't a weapon. It's more like a library, a teacher, and a final exam all rolled into one. A library that gave you the power to override our most advanced systems, Hayes countered. A teacher that downloaded alien technology into your brain. That sounds like a weapon to me, Ms. Chen. Sarah felt the interface's amusement at the human concept of turning everything into a potential weapon. But beneath that amusement lay concern. Other species had failed their trials by following exactly this path. The interface chose me because I didn't see it as a weapon, she explained. The predecessors who created it weren't looking for soldiers. They were looking for something else. The committee room aboard Titan Station hummed with tense energy. Through the windows, Sarah could see the Guardian ship maintaining its vigilant position. Smaller vessels had joined it, each representing different alien factions interested in humanity's trial. Not all of them were hoping for our success. Then what were they looking for? Asked Dr. Patel, Earth's leading xenoanthropologist. Unlike Hayes, her hologram leaned forward with genuine curiosity. Sarah closed her eyes, letting the interface's knowledge flow through her. They were looking for harmony, the ability to see patterns in chaos, to find connections where others see only separation. The interface isn't just technology. It's a key to understanding the fundamental symphony of the universe. As if responding to her words, the interface activated. The committee room filled with shifting patterns of light and sound. Sarah felt her consciousness expanding, touching the quantum fabric of reality itself. Through her link, the committee members could see what she saw: the cosmic dance of particles, the music of gravitational waves, the elegant mathematics that underpinned existence itself. This is what the predecessors discovered, Sarah said, her voice resonating with the interface's power. Reality isn't just particles and forces. It's a symphony and everything. Every atom, every star, every thought is part of the music. They didn't want weapons. They wanted composers. The holographic displays showed scenes from across human history, cave paintings and symphonies, mathematical proofs and poetry, scientific breakthroughs and artistic masterpieces. This is why the interface chose humanity. Not because we're the strongest or the smartest, but because we see patterns others miss. We make connections others don't. And these connections, Dr. Patel asked, they're what the trial is testing. Before Sarah could answer, alarms blared throughout the station. The interface flooded her mind with urgent data. Ships were emerging from quantum space, dozens of them, their signatures matching none of the approved observer vessels. We have multiple contacts, Titan Station's AI announced. Energy signatures suggest hostile intent. Through her enhanced senses, Sarah felt the new arrival's purpose. They're the discordant, she explained, the interface translating concepts into words. Species that failed their trials. They believe the only way to advance is to steal the knowledge they couldn't earn. The committee room erupted into chaos as tactical displays showed the discordant fleet moving to surround Titan Station. Earth's defensive fleet was hours away at best. Now would be a really good time to use that weapon, Director Hayes said pointedly. Sarah stood, feeling the interface's power coursing through her. It's not a weapon, she repeated. It's an instrument, and it's time to show both our observers and our attackers what humanity can do with it. She reached out with her enhanced consciousness, touching the quantum fields that permeated space. The interface's knowledge guided her as she began to weave them together, creating something new. The Guardians had expected careful, measured progress. The discordant expected brute force and desperation. Nobody expected what Sarah Chen, maintenance technician and newly appointed composer of reality, was about to attempt. What are you doing? Dr. Patel asked, watching in fascination as patterns of energy began forming around the station. Something very human. Sarah replied, I'm improvising. The interface hummed with approval as Sarah began her symphony. She took the quantum fields and bent them like notes on a scale. She took dark energy and shaped it like clay. Most importantly, she took what the interface had taught her about harmony and added something uniquely human, creativity. The discordant ships opened fire, their weapons designed to overwhelm conventional defenses. But Sarah wasn't using conventional anything. The energy beams struck her quantum symphony and became part of it. Their destructive power transformed into new harmonies. "My God," Hayes whispered, watching as space itself seemed to dance around Titan Station. "What is this?" "This is humanity's response to the trial," Sarah answered. Her consciousness expanded across light minutes of space. "We don't just learn the music. We make it our own." The discordant fleet faltered as their weapons not only failed to damage the station, but became part of an ever-growing quantum orchestra. Sarah felt the Guardians' surprise, their rigid understanding of progress challenged by this display of human adaptability. But she also felt something else, a response from deep space, beyond the watching ships. Something ancient was stirring, drawn by humanity's unique interpretation of the interface's power. Sarah Chen had just attracted the attention of beings that even the Guardians regarded with awe. The trial was about to become much more interesting. The quantum symphony Sarah had created still resonated through space around Titan Station, holding the discordant fleet at bay. But it was the silence that followed that made her nervous. Through her connection with the interface, she felt the ripples of her improvisation spreading across the galaxy, touching ancient sensors and awakening dormant watchers. "They're coming," she announced to the emergency council that had assembled in Titan Station's central command. The predecessors, Chief Martinez, who had stayed by her side through all of this, looked up from his tactical display. "I thought they were gone. Transcended, or whatever." "Some transcended," Sarah corrected, the interface feeding her information faster than she could process it. "Others chose to remain, to watch, to wait. And I just got their attention." The holographic displays showed new quantum disturbances forming at the edge of the solar system. These weren't like the precise quantum jumps of the Guardians or the brutal tears in space used by the discordant. These were more like the fabric of reality gently parting, making way for something that had helped write the laws of physics. "The predecessors aren't just advanced aliens," Sarah explained, her mind expanding to comprehend concepts that no human had ever encountered. "They're the universe's first children. They learned to sing reality's song before any other species knew there was music at all." The discordant fleet was retreating, their ships scrambling to escape what was coming. Even the Guardian vessel adjusted its position, showing what might have been the first sign of uncertainty since its arrival. Through the interface, Sarah felt the approach of minds vast beyond comprehension. But instead of the expected awe or fear, she felt something else: recognition. The predecessors were studying her quantum symphony with what could only be described as curiosity. "They're surprised," she said, wonder in her voice. "No species has ever used the interface quite like this before. We didn't just play the notes they left us. We created new music." The first of the predecessor vessels emerged into normal space. It defied description, its form shifting between states of matter that shouldn't exist. Sarah's enhanced mind could barely process what she was seeing, even with the interface's help. "Greetings, young composers," a voice echoed through every mind on the station. "We have heard your song." Sarah stepped forward, letting the interface guide her response. "We're honored by your attention, but I don't understand. Surely other species have done more with the interface than this simple improvisation." A sound like stellar wind through crystal filled their minds. Predecessor laughter. "Many species master the notes we left behind. Some create pale imitations of our works. But you took our instrument and played something new. Something that could not exist until you imagined it." The predecessor vessel's presence seemed to fill all of space around them, its consciousness touching each mind aboard the station with gentle curiosity. "You are young, imperfect, divided among yourselves. By all measurable standards, you should not be ready for the gift of the interface." And yet, new displays appeared in the command center, showing humanity's history. But these weren't just records of technological advancement. They showed cave paintings beside space stations, stone tools beside quantum computers, ancient myths beside scientific theories. "You never stopped creating." The predecessor observed. Even when you had nothing, you made art. Even when you understood nothing, you made music. Even when you could barely survive, you dreamed of dancing among the stars. Sarah felt the interface resonating with something deeper than she'd ever accessed before. That's what you were really testing for, wasn't it? Not just the ability to use your technology, but the drive to make it into something new. Indeed, the predecessor's presence focused on her. The interface is not merely a test of advancement. It is a test of imagination, of the ability to see beyond what is to what could be. Many species can copy. Few can create. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. The discordant fleet, perhaps sensing that their window of opportunity was closing, had launched a desperate attack. Energy weapons powerful enough to crack a planet streaked toward Titan Station. Sarah reached for the interface's power, preparing to strengthen her quantum symphony. But before she could act, she felt something else. The predecessor was offering her access to power beyond anything the interface had shown her. "No," she said, surprising herself as much as everyone else. "Thank you, but no. I need to handle this our way." The predecessor's presence radiated approval. "Then show us, young composer. Show us what new music humanity can create." Sarah closed her eyes, reaching not for the vast powers offered by the predecessor, but for something uniquely human. She thought of jazz musicians improvising together, of artists blending styles to create something new, of scientists looking at failed experiments and seeing unexpected possibilities. The interface responded to her thoughts, but differently now. Instead of just channeling its power, it began learning from her. The quantum symphony around the station shifted, incorporating new elements that made the Guardian's perfect geometries seem rigid and lifeless in comparison. When the discordant weapons struck, they didn't find a barrier or a shield. They found a dance partner. Sarah took their destructive energy and wove it into her symphony, transforming their attack into part of a greater harmony. You see, the predecessor addressed the watching Guardians. They do not simply use the tools. They transform them. They do not simply learn the rules. They reshape them. This is what we have waited for. The discordant fleet, their weapons useless, began to retreat. But Sarah wasn't finished. Her quantum symphony reached out to their ships, offering not destruction but invitation. Some fled, but others, to everyone's surprise, stopped. Through the interface, she felt their wonder as they experienced something they had tried to steal being freely shared instead. "This is humanity's strength," Sarah explained to all who were watching. "We don't just advance, we bring others with us. We don't just learn, we teach. We don't just survive, we help others thrive." The predecessor's presence enveloped the station one last time. "The trial is not over," it announced, "but it has changed. You have shown us something new, young composers. Now show us what music humanity will create when given the full symphony of the cosmos to play with." As the predecessor vessel prepared to depart, Sarah felt the interface changing, evolving, becoming something more than its creators had imagined. Humanity's trial would continue, but not as a test of our worth. Instead, it would become a chance to show the galaxy something it had never seen before. The universe was watching. It was time for humanity to take the stage. 1 month after the predecessor's departure, Sarah Chen stood in Titan Station's observation dome, watching ships arrive from across the galaxy. The interface hummed in her mind, translating the quantum signatures of vessels representing dozens of species. Some came to learn, others to observe, and a few simply to witness what humanity would do next. Still hard to believe this all started with a maintenance check, Chief Martinez said, joining her at the window. The station had grown in the past month, new sections blooming like crystal formations as humanity adapted the interface's knowledge to our own technology. "That's exactly why it worked," Sarah replied, smiling. "We found the interface because we were fixing things, making things better. That's what humanity does." The largest of the new arrivals was a discordant vessel, but not coming for battle this time. After Sarah's demonstration of the quantum symphony, Several discordant species had requested to learn humanity's approach to the interface. It had shocked the Guardians, who had spent millennia trying to contain the discordant's aggression. "The first joint learning session starts today," Sarah said, watching the ship dock with practiced precision. Former enemies studying together. The Guardians still can't quite believe it. The Guardian ship remained in its position near Titan Station, but its role had changed. No longer just observers and judges, they had become students themselves, learning to see the universe through humanity's eyes. Through the interface, Sarah felt the arrival of the first discordant representatives. Their minds were complex arrays of quantum states, but she could sense their eagerness, their hunger not for power now, but for understanding. Interface bearer. They greeted her formally as they entered the observation dome. "We come seeking harmony. Just call me Sarah," she replied. "And harmony is exactly what we're here to create together." The dome's holographic systems activated, displaying the quantum symphony she had created during the attack. But now it was more than just a defense system. It had become a teaching tool, a way to show other species how humanity saw the music of reality. "Your species fought each other for millennia," one of the Guardians observed, joining the gathering. "You split the atom to make weapons before you used it for power. By all our previous measures, you should not be ready for this responsibility." Sarah nodded, letting the interface show her memories of human history. "All our wars, our mistakes, our struggles. We're not perfect. We've made terrible choices, hurt each other, damaged our world. But that's not what defines us." She gestured to the holographic display, where her quantum symphony had begun to evolve, incorporating new elements from both Guardian and discordant music. "What defines us is that we learn from our mistakes. We take what's broken and find ways to make it beautiful. We look at our differences and see opportunities for harmony." The interface sparked with new energy as more species joined the gathering. Sarah felt their minds connecting through the quantum fields, each bringing their own unique perspective to the symphony. "The predecessors didn't want perfect students," she continued. "They wanted species who could teach them something new. That's humanity's gift to the galaxy, not just using the tools we're given, but transforming them into something more." Through her connection to the interface, Sarah began to guide the assembled species in creating something unprecedented, a true collaboration of minds and methods from across the galaxy. The quantum symphony evolved, becoming richer and more complex as each species added their own voice. "This is just the beginning," she told them all. "We have so much to learn from each other, so much to create together." The Guardian's form shifted in what Sarah had learned to recognize as profound surprise. In all our time watching over the interface, we never considered this possibility. We sought species worthy of using it. You seek to make everyone worthy. Because that's what humans do, Sarah said, watching as the representatives of former enemy species worked together, learning each other's songs. "We don't just climb mountains. We build stairs so others can follow. We don't just solve problems. We teach others how we did it." The observation dome filled with light as the combined quantum symphony reached new levels of complexity and beauty. Through the interface, Sarah felt the attention of the distant predecessors, watching with approval as their test yielded results they had never anticipated. "The trial isn't over," the Guardian announced, "but its nature has changed. You humans have transformed it from a test of worthiness into an opportunity for growth. For all of us." Sarah smiled, remembering the frightened maintenance technician she'd been just a month ago. "That's because we never saw it as just a trial. We saw it as a chance to learn, to create, to connect. And now," she gestured to the gathering of species, their combined symphony reaching out into space, touching distant worlds and minds. "Now we're all part of something bigger, something new. Something that couldn't exist until we all learned to sing together." Through the station's windows, Saturn's rings gleamed like a cosmic symphony frozen in space. Humanity had passed our trial not by proving we were better than other species, but by showing we could help make everyone better together. "So," Sarah asked the assembled representatives of the galaxy's species, "What shall we create next?" The interface hummed with possibilities as humanity prepared to help write the next movement in the universe's endless song.